Hello Whovians and welcome to WhoTube Gallifrey02. In this video I will be counting down my top 5 Paul McGann stories. So Paul McGann has played the 8th Doctor in many Big Finish audios and only 2 Doctor Who television stories. The TV movie, his first story in his arc, and a short, The Night of the Doctor, his last. So yes, in this video I'll be counting down my top 5 Paul McGann stories. So yeah, I haven't listened to all of his stories. I don't think anyone has, as someone worked it out and it would take 14 days to listen to all his stories in a go. So yeah, I don't think many people have listened to his entire canon. So yes, starting the list at number 5, we do have the movie, his first story as the Doctor. So yeah, this isn't for the story itself, but Paul McGann's performance in this story. Paul McGann's performance in this story is very good, really good in this story. Very strong Doctor, very different type of Doctor, very 21st century Doctor, and yeah, really do like Paul McGann's performance in this story. Love the mythology behind the Master being taken from Gallifrey and stuff like that. Don't like the first 20 minutes, well I do, but I do think this movie is rather rushed, as the first 20 minutes are all about Sylvester McCoy, and we don't see enough of Paul McGann in this story. So yeah, I do think they should have done it like the first episode of New Who, when he was just there as the Doctor and we didn't see his regeneration. So yeah, Doctor Who the movie, very good story in my opinion. Love the car chase in this story, but the American elements of the story don't really work. I'm glad they didn't do a reboot, as I've read up on the reboot, and it was a complete reboot and remakes of a lot of Doctor Who stories. They were going to do Tomb of the Cybermen, but call it Tomb of the Zybes, as they didn't have the right to call it Cybermen. They were going to do Horror of Fang Rock, they were going to do The Talons of Wei Chang, set in New York. They were going to do another episode of The Gunfighters, more historically accurate. And yeah, they were going to basically remake loads of Doctor Who stories, but just put an American twist on them. And I'm glad they didn't do this, as it would basically kill the Doctor Who canon, remaking all those stories. So yeah, moving on to number 4, we do have the Sontaran Ordeal, which is the 4th instalment in Classic Doctor's New Monsters, Volume 1. Now, the Sontaran Ordeal, I do think, is an excellent story with Paul McGann. Paul McGann talks over this Sontaran who has gone rogue during the Time War and encourages him to not fight. And you really do like the conversations between the Doctor and the Sontaran and this other woman who's on this planet where it's being wrecked by the Time War. Really do like the mythology in this story as well. Pretty much all the Paul McGann stories which I've listened to have been very mythological, or whatever you call it. So yeah, moving on to number 3. At number 3, we do have not the Day of the Doctor, but The Night of the Doctor, which is available on this DVD. So yes, The Night of the Doctor. What do I have to say about The Night of the Doctor? So The Night of the Doctor came as a surprise to many. No one saw it coming, as Paul McGann finally returned to our TV screens. He hadn't been playing the Doctor on TV for over 15 years, and yeah, really shocking that he came back to do this story. His last story where he regenerates into John Hurt, and yeah, really did like that twist that he was actually the true 9th Doctor in this story. Did see it coming, but you know, it confirmed my theory on who John Hurt was. And you really like this last story featuring Paul McGann. Did think it was a good swan song for his Doctor. Also like the mythology of this story. So yeah, again, a very good story. Now at number 2, we do have Sharda. So Sharda, the first Paul McGann story I listened to, and yes, I actually listened to this before I watched the TV movie. So yeah, Sharda, the first Big Finish I listened to also, and yeah, really good first impressions of Big Finish. Really do like this remake of the 1980 story Sharda, which was unfinished. Prefer this a lot more to the TV story as it's unfinished. Do like how this filled the gaps and explained the story in a better light. And yeah, it did continue from Sharda, the 4th Doctor story, as the Doctor said, we have some unfinished business back in Sharda. So yeah, really like this story. Strongly recommend you pick this story up. It's only $4.99 from the Doctor Who Experience, so if you're going before it closes, I recommend picking this up if it's still available, that is. So at number 1, we do have Absent Friends. So Absent Friends is the first installment of Doom Coalition Volume 3. And yeah, really do adore this Doctor Who audio. It is absolutely magnificent. A really beautiful piece of drama, and yeah, really do enjoy this story thoroughly. Very emotional, this story. It's dead loved ones phone people up. Love the companions in the story. They're very good companions as well. And yeah, really good story. Really visually impressive. You can imagine it really well, this story. It's about telephones and mobile phones when they were first invented. And yeah, really do like how the people reacted to them and stuff like that. Really good Big Finish audio. And yeah, you can get all these stories on CD or DVD, and you can watch The Night of the Doctor on YouTube for completely free. So, until the next time with my Sonic Specs, goodbye.